Okay, so welcome everybody to this masterclass on the nodes and the nodal shift of 2025. Excuse me, I'm just going to have to go back and forth letting people in. The nodes aren't actually planets or anything like that. They're actually two points in the sky, and they're situated close to the moon. So what happens is every now and then, or every 18 months or so, the moon intercepts that orbit, or the elliptic or the node, the elliptic plane around there, and that causes this change in nodes. So the nodes, they're like 2 points in the sky. We have the south node and we have the north node. So they're very, very important because they change the collective energy and they change us personally. So they remind us every 18 months of what we need to let go of and what we need to step into. So, and so they really, and so often they're very much sort of demonstrated by the archetypes and the different archetypes we have to go through. So as we shift in the focus of the nodes, we shift our personal focus, and we also shift the collective focus so that we can be more in alignment. Because the south node is very much about what we have to let go of, what we've already mastered, where we've already been before, what we've already experienced in other lifetimes and in this lifetime. And the north node is what we're heading into. So, when we look at the South Node, it's what we've come from. So it's what we've mastered and learned in other lifetimes. But because of that, it's very, very familiar to us. And therefore, most of the time we want to stay in that energy because it's familiar. We know how it works. It's good for us. It's habitual. It's all of those things that we're used to. And, most of us, at most of the time, we don't really want to step out of our comfort zone. We always like to be comfortable wherever we are. But so this change every 18 months really pushes us out of what we're used to, where we're habitual, and sort of moves us out of a sort of a stubborn energy. But the challenge can be is that because we're so used to that energy, that's where we want to stay. So it can be hard to move into that new energy. So the North Node represents the potential, what we can do. Now that we've learned all of this, what can we do with that information? What can we do with that learning to step it into something else? And it also shows us what's possible. So it could be, that you've never really realized with the nodes. Often what can show up with them is a new talent or a gift that you haven't really explored very much before, but you're now going to get a great opportunity to do so. But again, you've got to be prepared to move out of that old energy of, oh no, that's not the way I've done it in the past, and that's not the way it's worked for me before, and be open to a new way of doing things and a completely different path in many, many ways. So from the collective energy of the earth plane, which we're always looking at the collective and the personal, the south node is what the world has already experienced. So what it's already been through on a collective level. And so then we take all of that collective learning and we use it for the collective for the north node and what we're moving into. So it's all about changing direction in life. So we're changing direction as the collective, and we're also changing direction as a personal being as well. So when we're moving out of Aries as the north node and into Pisces as the north node, we're moving into more. We're looking for more. We're looking for more meaning, more fulfillment, more spirituality, more of everything, so that we can actually feel like we're making progress and like we're taking the lessons that we've learned and the things that we've been through, and we're actually using them to step into our lives now and do something more with them. So we've had the last 18 months, we've had the South Node in Libra and the North Node in Aries. So the South Node in Libra representing what we've come from. So what that's sort of saying is that we're moving out, we've been for the last 18 months moving out of a one-size-fits-all society where, Librian energy is all about everybody getting along, everybody being harmonious, everybody being very much the same. Librian people and Librian energy doesn't often like to go against the grain or be the person that upsets the apple cart or do things differently. It wants to go underneath the radar and just keep the peace and keep everything nice and balanced and harmonious. But when we remain in that energy for too long, we forget about putting ourselves first. And I always remember one of my very first classes with the Master Maitreya, and I always remember him saying to me, number one lesson of spirituality, there is nobody in the world more important than you. And that was a big thing to get your head around, because we're very conditioned to always be looking after others and looking out for the needs of others, which of course we should. That's a good way to be, and it's a kind way to be. But we've also got to be able to say, pick me, or be able to say, I want that, or be able to go after what we really want. And so these last 18 months of the North Node in Aries have been really teaching us about the importance of individuality and the importance of putting yourself first and the importance of stepping up whenever you can in any situation that you're in. So it's been a difficult time, but it's been an interesting time. So it's going to be particularly interesting with this change now, because as we step into this more into this Pisces energy, we've come from Aries, which is all about me energy. It's one of the fire signs of the zodiac. So it's very self-centered, very self-driven, and very self-actuated. And we needed that to be able to go from from Aries into Pisces, because unless you're firm and confident within yourself, you don't know how to go higher. You don't know what those energies are that you're meant to take on. You don't know, how to look at things and how to look at them in a more evolved and sort of like I always sort of see it like a big umbrella that goes over everything, and we've got that big overreaching way of looking at things rather than be very stuck in the individuality of it all. So we learned how to be individuals with the North Node in Aries, and we're sort of learning over these last 18 months, the importance of thinking for yourself, which is a really big thing as we move forward in these times of great change on the Earth plane, is that we're starting to see that it doesn't always work to follow the crowd. It doesn't always work to be part of the herd. It doesn't actually work for you if you don't have an opinion of your own, or if you're not prepared to put yourself first and look after yourself as your number one priority. And when we come to things like self-care, we can all be very good at, making sure we look good, making sure we exercise well, making sure we eat the right foods, drink the right water, all of those sorts of things. But what the number one thing in self-care that we tend to overlook is what we think, what's going on up in here. And of course, that's really, really important, because what you're thinking is creating everything else that's going on around you and within your body physically as well. So for us to be able to step into a higher awareness and a higher way of looking at things, we have to, first of all, be confident within ourselves that what we're taking on and what we're stepping into will be good for us, will be what we need, and we know how to handle it. We know what to do with that energy that's going to be bigger and sort of more overwhelming, well, not necessarily overwhelming, but encompassing than what we've used before. So one of the other things it's really helped us with the Aries in the North Node is the ability to speak up and speak your mind and say what you actually think and feel, and not being afraid to to have an opinion about something that means a lot to you. Because, while the South Node in Libra wants to keep us all keeping the peace, it wants us all to just get along, which of course we need to all get along. But what we're learning in this age of Aquarius is that it's okay to be different and still be part of the same thing. We're really learning that we're all one, we're all part of the human species and the human energy, but we're all allowed to be individuals within that, and we're allowed to do things differently than how we've done them before. So one of the things that we also had to step out of was this one size fits all mentality, and thinking that, just because that works for you, it's going to work for me. We're allowed to be different. We're allowed to have different needs and different ways of doing things, but we've got to be confident in that. Otherwise we're just jumping up and down and making a fuss about nothing. It's about that deep inner confidence that this is what works for me. This is what's aligned with me. So this is what I'm going to move forward with. So we're moving out of an energy of needing to keep the peace simply so that there is peace. Because, when we do that, we're often sacrificing a lot of ourselves, a lot of what we believe in, a lot of what we feel, a lot of what we know, just to keep the peace. And so when the Aries energy can be very volatile, it can be very, very passionate, very driven. And so that's what we needed. We needed to sort of a real push to get out of that energy and to stop also sweeping things under the carpet, which is another sort of Librian way of being. With Librian energy, it's anything we can do to keep the peace, we're going to do. And of course, Aries energy it's all about me. So I'm going to do what I want and what's best for me. And it's sort of like balancing these two energies out and knowing when it was about you and when it was about the collective, knowing when you could take charge and others could follow you, and knowing when you could step back and allow somebody else to take the lead, and just learning all those different roles that we can have in life and how to utilize them the best. So as we move into this next energy from Aries, from the North Node going from being in Aries to being in Pisces for the next 18 months, it's going to be quite a shift. And of course, you know, Piscean energy is a very dreamy energy. It's the energy of fantasy. It's a very spiritual energy. It's a very intuitive energy, and it's a very, very creative energy. So what we've done now is we've sort of hopefully established ourselves as that Aryan energy of knowing who we are, knowing what we're capable of, and not being afraid to step into new things and try new things. So we've sort of had a taste of that. And now that we're moving into Pisces, it's like, what can I now do with myself, with this new self energy, with this new awareness that I have about myself, with a new everything? How can I use this energy differently? So this is when we actually get to take that Aryan confidence and belief in ourselves and use it as a higher level. So this is when we get to make our dreams become our reality, because we've learned how to put ourselves first. We've learned what we need to do to exercise what we believe in and what's important to us. And now we take it to a higher level where we look to our dreams and our fantasies and all the things that we want to create, all those things that we've been seeking and looking for and have maybe always felt like they were too far-fetched for us to achieve, or outside of our parameters of learning, or we don't have enough experience in that area, so we're not going to do it. But when the North Node moves into this energy, it brings that potential for change, that potential to do it differently, and the ability and the opportunities to that will present themselves so that you can. So it's going to be a really powerful time for everybody. So what we're also, because we're moving out of Virgo energy in particular, and into this Pisces energy, we're remembering how the earth used to work. So we're going back to also looking at the environment, looking at the natural ways of being, and real food, you know, all of those things that are very grounded, very earthy, but also part of our real structure of who we are. So, you know, when we talk about, I mean, they often talk about alternative medicine, for instance, and really why it's called alternative medicine is quite ridiculous, because it's not alternative at all. It's the actual original natural medicine. But for some reason, it's been labeled alternative. So when we step into Pisces energy, we start to see how things aren't alternative, that they're the actual natural and authentic way of doing things. And we start to use that energy. So we're moving out of what's been fabricated, what's been, you know, made out of laboratories, what's fake, and we're moving into what's real all over again. And that realness has to align with our spiritual awareness, with our awareness of who we are, where we're going, and what we're going to do. So it can be really a positive time to really follow your dreams and to know that it's okay to do so. So if there's anything that you've wanted to get off the ground this year, you should have that ability and that energy to do so. Because the beauty of it is that when we've got the polarity between Virgo and Pisces, Virgo is a very, very organized energy. It's the energy of management, of being the wind beneath other people's wings, of, you know, of crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. That's what that Virgo energy is all about. So it gives us structure. And so when we've got structure, we can create from something solid, from a good foundation, and therefore things will happen. They're not built on a house of cards. They're not just a dream. I mean, we are working with fantasies and dreams with that Pisces energy, but we've got the ability to make them a reality. So I'd just like to go through now and ask you all, turn your mics back on, if you have what dreams you might have for 2025. So Kim, you're at the top of my screen, so I'm going to pick on you first. So Kim, is there anything you'd really like to, oh, you're muted. Oh, you're not.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what would you like to get off the ground in 2025 that you feel has been a dream until now?
I just want to sell my photos or a book or a
Right.
variety of things, really.
Yeah. So do you feel
Yeah.
you've got the structure in place to be able to get that off the ground?
I think I've been looking into it. There's still a few more things that I definitely have to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you say, a lot of planning and testing and a bit of learning, really, of what
Yeah.
works where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. But you know, the purpose behind this shift is for you to really believe in those dreams.
Yeah.
And so that they're not a dream anymore, they're actually a reality. And you know, that's how we manifest, by seeing ourselves doing what we want to do, by seeing ourselves already there in that environment, in that project, and whatever it is you're trying to create. You're already there. You're not thinking about how's it going to happen, how am I going to get there. It's more about, this is my vision and this is where I am, because that's how we manifest. Manifestation works from how you think. And it's, you know, it's like it's your job to choose where you want to go and what you want to do, and the universe decides how that's going to happen. So
Right.
somebody's got some background noise coming through here and talking in the background. Somebody, yeah, I think it was you, Tanya. Yeah, yeah. So thank you for turning that off. Yeah, so for you, you know, you know what you need to do to get there. I mean, you know how to be a photographer, you know how to take beautiful photos, you know how to write, and you know how to what it takes to publish a book, you know, where you need to go and all those sorts of things. So all the foundation is there for you. Now the job for you is to believe in it and to take it to that next level and see yourself actually doing it. And getting all of those niggles, all of that, I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to afford it, and I don't know where I'm going to find the time. None of that's relevant. The only thing that's relevant is where you want to go and what you want to create.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what about you, Tanya Mitchell? What would you like to get off the ground, or what dream or fantasy have you got you'd like to make real this year?
Yes. Um, I have already worked on what it is that's I want to happen for the year.
Good.
And it's completely what you've already just said
Oh, good. Great.
in the last 10 minutes. And it's really around going back to what was happening early in my life with spiritual growth
Hmm.
and focusing on that and having that a priority.
Good. Good. Great. Well done.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Mm-hmm.
ahead of us. Good luck with it. And what about you, Jan?
Yeah, still jumping into the raising of consciousness. I've been doing mystery school training, lots of meditation and activating light bodies, and it's been a wonderful journey. How the universe has just been supporting me in the synchronicities and the people that have come into my life
Right.
that are on the same level, or are good teachers for me. So
Good.
yeah, but my plan is just to continue on and use the protocols and become
And
more light, become light.
are you sharing what you're learning and experiencing with others?
Only people who have gone through those particular levels.
I do feel with you that the reason you're going through this is so you can teach other people how to do it.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to put that out there.
Yeah, doing learning lots of healing things, but there's certain things that you can only that you can't teach.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, until later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all about the journey, isn't it, for you?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're here to share is to sort of share with people, you know, this is what it looks like as it goes along. You know, this is who I used to be, this is who I am now, and this is what I'm aiming for, so that people can see this journey going on and want to jump in on that journey as well, because it looks like such a good one.
Yeah, I know, I get that all the time. People go, wow, you just glow, and what's changed?
Yeah,
And
so have you sort of made a note of all the things that you've done and what you've investigated and what you've involved yourself in to get you where you are now?
I've got it all mentally. I don't, yeah.
Yeah. But I would really encourage you to
Most,
actually maybe write it all down, because it could be very useful to other people.
yeah, I'd love to write a book.
Yeah, do.
Of my life.
Go for it. Do it. Good. Okay. Okay, Alan. What would you like to get off the ground this year? What dream?
Just working on a business right now. So I've been doing that for last year. So hopefully this year things will come together. So that's really what I'm looking at.
Okay, so is it all aligning like you would like it to so far?
It's trying to.
It's trying to.
It's trying to. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good. So
Good.
we'll see.
Good. Yeah, so we're all dealing with a lot of extenuating circumstances at the moment, which don't make getting your dreams off the ground as easy as it used to, or it would feel that way anyway. But
Right.
again, you've got the structure, you know, you've got that foundation behind you to create from. So, you know, there's no reason why it should fall down when it's got that support underneath it.
Yeah.
Good.
There you go. Thank you.
Good. Okay, Lisa.
Sorry.
That's right.
Get myself off mute there. Yeah, I'm really keen to put together some longer retreats, so expanding on the retreats that I've been offering. So I'm thinking starting off with doing a 3-day retreat in Kaitiritiri, which I sussed
Right.
place over Christmas, and it feels fitting. And I'd also like to do arrange some fortnightly soul circles, sort of using my experience with meditation and mindfulness, and a lot of the work
Good.
that I've sort of done in the past, but sort of I've felt it's been too much for just a 3-hour workshop, sort of having it in an 8-week sort of block.
Beautiful.
And then, yeah, also want to organise some workshops working in collaboration with other wonderful souls like yourself. Yeah, so I've been working, well, my husband actually has been a real anchor, has been pushing me, and we're halfway through getting a website sorted for me. So
Great. Well done. You
remote-
have been busy since I saw you last.
yeah.
Right. So interesting. So you talked to when we were in Bali, you
Yeah.
talked about wanting to, do these workshops. And so
Yeah.
you found the place. You didn't have a space. You didn't have any idea about it, 2 months ago, and all of a sudden it's fallen into place.
Well, yeah, it was interesting. So after our time in Bali too, I did sort of, I just felt really drawn after and spending that time afterwards on holiday in Asia. I loved it, but I did come back to New Zealand going, my God, why am I not using New Zealand? Because it's,
Yes.
it's easy, it's clean, it's green, it's yeah. And there's a spot that I have looked at before over in Kaitiritiri, but I couldn't actually get into the sort of the yoga space that I'd be using. It was being every time I've gone in, it's been used. So I really wanted to get a feel for whether that would be an okay space. Yeah, so I managed.
The time is right.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. Good. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck with it all, Lisa. Trina.
Oh, good. Yeah. For me, I've really developed such a strong passion for growing, drying, and eating herbs, and learning a lot about soil quality, and like our garden has always been my therapist, and it just brings me so much joy and peace being
Good.
there by myself and just connecting and being with my thoughts. And I find that that's where I spend a lot of time with my guides.
Mhm.
And yeah, and just it's amazing the messages that just keep coming through stronger and stronger all the time. So I think it's just I don't know, I'm just so happy pottering and collecting and
Good.
drying and putting everything in a jar. Like it needs to be in a glass jar for me.
So you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So, the energy of Virgo is a very healing energy. So that is another one of the things that's probably going to come up with this for over the next 18 months for everybody is the importance of healing and good looking after yourself and eating well and using herbs and all of those sorts of things, whether it be medicinally or in our food. So, you're feeling that call. So there is more to that what you're creating there, I actually feel is another avenue you're going to go down. Have you studied herbalism?
No, not in detail.
Yeah.
But I've always
And I'm
been
not saying that I
fascinated.
don't actually know if you're going to need to. I just see you creating a whole lot of dried products and different things that you tend to, you then find more uses for than what you already know.
Okay.
So the old, because a lot of it is about remembering. That's what we're doing is remembering the old ways, remembering how life used to be and how the world used to work, not reinventing the wheel. We're going back, but we're making it better. We're bringing it into the 21st century. So we're ironing out all the creases and all the problems with how it used to be and making it more useful now.
I just love the unhurried time and how long it takes to grow and dry and yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good analogy of life when if you take your time with things and don't rush, you get such a good product at the end of it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, good, Trina. And Karisha.
Hi there.
Hi.
I have like a more, well, I guess we all have more of a long-term vision as well. And mine's at the moment just enjoying the journey this year. I'm halfway through my social work degree, and I've got an interest in the palliative care sector. And I have just been offered a tutoring position within the university. And I have a vision of wanting to one day actually be able to do literature writing on the importance of astrology in the helping profession and how you can really gain insight in an immediate way before engaging with someone that's gone through a crisis that can't actually communicate effectively what they have experienced and the best way to connect in with them. So it's a unfolding journey that's I'm 2 years in now, and it'll take a few more, but I'm just loving everything that unfolds, and a lot of focus on being a little more financially stable through ensuring Reiki clients and natal chart readings this year. So
what they're showing me for you is, are you documenting everything you're doing along the way?
Every single day, and it's been the most empowering step to understanding myself and astrology actually is writing down every day everything that happens, little notes, so that when I'm watching like one of your forecasts saying look back 6 months ago, I know exactly what was happening and I can see exactly how it plays out and how astrology in a mundane level and a personal level impacts everything. And I just have this book as just my lifesaver.
Yeah. So I'd like to encourage you to actually make videos and talk about it rather than just writing it down.
Yes.
So that people can interact with you.
That's funny you say that, because that's something I've actually been in the pipelines wanting to do, but just waiting for the right time that I feel to put myself out there in that way.
Yeah. So one of the things we've got to kind of just be a little bit aware of with Pisces energy is that it's the energy of the fence sitter. So it's very easy in this energy to have all these amazing ideas and all these things you want to put into place and have happen, but not get off the ground because
my North Node and my Venus is in Pisces. So I understand that very much. And I'm having my nodal return currently. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, great. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Nick, what would you like to get off the ground this year?
I'm actually going to be sitting a diploma in project management.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, so it's a long course doing it online. It's 66 weeks, but that's my goal that I've got off the ground so far. One of them.
Well done. Good on you. Yeah. So you've already started?
I start in a couple of weeks.
Good. So, you know, the more you do this, I feel the more you're going to see where it can take you. And it's just going to feel like really taking the right step.
Yeah. And just pretty much concentrating on centering myself a lot more and concentrating on me and a lot of self-care and self-love. And
Good. That's the way to go. Well done. Good luck with it all.
Thank you,
okay. Raylene.
So the universe has forced me into a direction, a career change. I wouldn't make that decision, and I knew it was coming. So I would like, when I'm looking for a new career, I would like to do something more creative or spiritual. Even if it's not a creative or spiritual job, I'd like to try to figure out how to bring that into it. And I want to focus on deepening my relationships. So I need a better balance in my home life and my work, because I always put way too much into work.
Right. Good. So, you know, the higher perspective of you is what's really important. You know, what do I need to sustain and keep going? And it's not your work. So I really do hope that you are going to step into a creative path, because your work is amazing and it really feels like it's calling you. But there's a doubt there, isn't there? The doubt that you can
There is, because I always go into directions and I do have self-doubt a lot. So I have too many directions. Like I like to paint, I like to write, and then I don't believe in myself.
Yeah. So again, you've got to use that Virgo South Node to create a structure that allows you to have a plan. So, you know, for you, perhaps what you need is to dedicate yourself an hour a day to writing, an hour a day to art. And that's every day. And it's from 10 o'clock till 11 o'clock or whatever the time frame is. And you stick to it, because it's like, you know, disciplining yourself to get where you want to go.
Yes, that's been nagging at me. I've been telling myself to do that, but I haven't forced myself.
Yeah. And so we've got Saturn in Pisces at the moment for the next sort of about another 5 months. And so, you know, he's very much been helping us to find that structure within our creativity or within our spiritual path. But, you know, it hasn't been an easy journey. But really what it's about is you know, knowing what you want and doing everything you can to make that a reality. So good luck with it. I hope it comes off for
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. Inez. Oh, now I've lost
I'm
your picture.
muted. Yeah,
Okay. No, you're muted. Now I've got your picture.
there we go.
Yep,
Sorry,
that's it. That's it.
technically challenged showing my age. So what's for me? Talking to you yesterday, a couple of other things, and then today somebody from the village came to grab some herbs, and I think that really came again in the last 10 minutes. For me, it's creating a structure to have simple herbalism and food security, just to show people what's possible.
Yes.
Not necessarily as a job as such at the moment, but just getting more into that. I have said for years I will start a purchasing pool, and I haven't done that.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people who are really struggling financially,
Yes.
so they would benefit from but I also know people who have excess money.
Yes.
So trying to get those guys together and actually creating a system outside of the system.
Yeah. So yeah, which I am a great believer in as well, because I do feel that the way forward is to come back to community.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to sort of shrink everything down and intensify it in a way that we can look after one another again.
Yeah.
That's great.
And for me, very different focus. Instead of going with my unschooled whānau, you know, the people who I thought are on the same page, going back to my local people who are so different in their beliefs, of some of them, but yeah, just keeping it local instead of spread out people all over the nation.
And I do think that this is a real it's sort of an issue that a lot of people have come up with, is that they've looked at their spiritual, the people that they have shared spiritual things with in these times of great change, and realized that, okay, you share the same values spiritually, but you're not on the same page in other ways. And so this is when we come across the people that live next door to us who aren't on the same wavelength with us spiritually, but they understand another part of us. And this is how we're all getting to see how we can all come together, no matter what our interests are or what side of the fence we're on, because we all need to live and we all need to survive and we all need to eat and those sorts of things. So I think that's a great idea for you to get that off the ground and really sharing it with your community.
Yeah, with the local community.
Yeah.
Because we have this big unschooled community, but they're not local. We can't support each other in the practical manner that much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's got to come back to, is who's in your vicinity.
Yeah.
Good.
And funny enough, I just started the civil defense. You know, I'm totally not into like any of the uniforms or that stuff, but I just joined the civil defense group last year, and I'm like, oh, okay, being the very odd one out there, but that's cool. Yeah.
Good. Well done. Good. Okay, Tanya. I think it's kind of Christian. I can't see your picture and you're muted, so maybe you're at work and can't talk. Oh, there you are.
All
Hi,
good.
Tanya.
Hi, how are you? Good. Yeah, I am at work, but I'm eating lunch and looking at my other computer. But
so what dream would you like to get off the ground this year?
Oh gosh, I want to what do I want to do? I want to be a bit more self-disciplined. I want to get fit. If you don't use it, you lose it. Just I think generally just sort of take care of myself a little bit more. You know, the pre-menopause and menopause thing, gosh, my brain is just mush. So if I start eating better and sleeping better and everything else, then, you know, maybe I'll be able to remember and start thinking again. And spending more time in nature. Yeah.
Good.
Yep, but be self-disciplined to actually do it. Not say I'm going to do it, but do it.
So that's the Aries energy from the last 18 months, has given you that confidence or that clarity to think, okay, now I've got to put me first. And so the Pisces energy is going to show you how to do that in a holistic way.
Gotcha.
So look at everything, you know, look at your, not just your physical health, but your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, all of the health, and match it all up. Good.
Done. Cool.
Right. Excellent. Okay, Shelley.
Hello.
Hi.
I think for me, the things that I'm wanting to put in place this year are two things. One is to re-establish some personal disciplines. I'm retired now, so I don't have the excuse of not enough time. And so that would be a good thing. And also re-establish a healing practice that I used to provide for other people. So yeah, those are the two key things really.
Good, well done. So yeah, definitely. I mean, especially if you've done this work before, healing work or spiritual work or creative work before, you know, this is the time for a new opportunity to present itself, or for you to remember and reestablish yourself in that area. So good on you for not retiring from everything and actually still bringing your energy to the table. Because that's one of the most important things that we often forget about. The whole purpose of being on the earth plane is that we all come in with our gifts and our talents, and it's our job to develop those so we can be the best we can possibly be at whatever it is you're good at, and then you must share it. So lots of people develop that and get really good at things, but they don't actually share it. And so nobody else gets the benefit of all of that hard work and discipline and everything that you've been through. So Shelley, for you to be able to reuse what you've already done before is a really great way for you to move forward.
Great, thank you.
So well done. Where are you, Shelley?
In New Zealand, on the
You're in New
Kapiti
Zealand.
coast.
Oh, lovely, on the Kapiti coast, lovely. So, you know, probably quite easy to get something going up there, is it?
I guess so. I mean, it's a matter of finding a physical space, because
Yes.
the healing work that I do can be quite noisy.
Oh, okay.
So, so you can't just use a
room in a beauty therapy center or something.
Yeah, no. So
okay.
yeah.
Good.
Making
so put it out there to the universe. You need the perfect space to be able to do this from, and see what presents itself.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks, Shelley.
Thank
and
you.
Jackie. Are you there, Jackie? Yeah, I see you're muted and your camera's not on, but you might just be listening.
No,
Hi.
I've just on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Oh, cool. I came in late, Deirdre, because I was,
Okay, so the question was, what dreams or visions or fantasies do you have that you would like to get make real or get off the ground this year?
It's a really good question. I was looking because I know it's Pisces season, and in my house, Pisces is a 10th house, so that's my career, and so maybe I think for me it's just like speaking up more, knowing what I know, and if that makes sense, like, and being strong in that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because that Pisces in the 10th house is about bringing that higher value, that higher wisdom, that higher understanding to everything that you do within your work.
Yeah.
So it's really taking it to that next level, no matter what you're doing, bringing that influence in.
Yeah, that's what I was envisioning, Deirdre. I think I've learnt last year, I got a lot stronger at it, especially in the environment, because I work within a school.
Yeah.
And as my job, I'm a counsellor within the school, but I work a little bit differently as well. So it's kind of holding that and knowing that I know what I know, and
and really an absolute amazing opportunity for you to really step into your own.
Yes, that's it.
Because of this North Node in Pisces, there's going to be a lot more people out there looking for spiritual answers, looking for spiritual everything, because of the influence of this energy. So it's a great time as a counselor, or of anybody that works with people, to be able to bring in just the odd little bit here and there to open up people's minds and get them thinking a bit more.
Yeah, I think so too. So that's a great question, Deirdre. It's very
good, great. Thanks, Jackie. Okay, Philippa, you've jumped in late as well, but you've heard the question, and you also do the same sort of work as Jackie does. So
I was thinking, similar to Jackie. So yes, I really want to, because I'm working in the school, as you know, as a counsellor, and I definitely bring in my other modalities, which is the spiritual and the movement. And I want to really generate a soul-aligned business online as well, and more life.
Good.
So working more in the private sector.
Yeah,
and bringing back into my chakra dance and all of that stuff.
Right. So it's about you getting that off the ground and making that a reality this year. Good.
Yeah.
So you've got the structure, you've got the, you know what you need to do. It's just about, okay, universe, help me make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So do that as well. I mean, I've got my other study stuff, so I just don't want to be which is very head based, but I want to be more somatic and spiritually aligned.
Good. Well done. Great. So, there's lots of, you're all talking about the potential and what you'd like to have and happen this year and step into this year, and it's all there for you. But the thing is that we've got to keep focused and we've got to stay on track to where we're going and not go off on tangents. So the beautiful thing, so as we move into this new polarity of Virgo versus Pisces, now the thing with the opposing signs of the zodiac always share something in common. Even though they're opposites, they share something in common. So the very common thing between Virgo and Pisces is the need to serve. So Virgos like to serve because they like to organize everything. They like to be the wind beneath other people's wings. They like to be the people that cross all the T's and dot all the I's and take care of all those detail stuff in the background. And Pisces likes to serve because it just wants to keep the peace. It wants everyone to be happy. It wants everyone to get along. So easier to do that by serving than trying to push people into things or take charge or be, militant or anything like that. So that's the similarity. But what I sort of am really feeling now is that we need to move out of a belief or a practice of serving and turn it into a practice of sharing. Because for as long as you're serving, you're a little bit lower than everybody else. You're doing things for the benefit of everybody else. And we're doing that anyway. But when we label it serving, it's like you become a servant and you're serving other people when you could be just sharing with other people, keeping everything nice and equal and on the same line, but and that makes everybody feel more comfortable, more equal, more appreciated, and nobody's any better than anybody else. So I sort of feel with this nodal change that we're going through, that's one thing to really keep in mind. What have you got to share with others? What have you got about your life, about something you've been through, about piece of knowledge, something you're good at that other people could benefit from? And rather than, using it to serve another person, share that knowledge with them so that they can be equal to you and do it their way as well. So that's something that's really going to come up for this, shifting that focus out of that serving energy. So when we move into, now that we've moved into, or just moved into this new nodal change, Virgo energy is the south node. So what we're coming from with that south node energy is the ability to be organized, the ability to create structure, the ability to be grounded, the ability to know what needs to be done when, and also the ability to be perfect. Because Virgo is the energy of perfection. But we've got the positive qualities of Virgo, then we've always got, of course, got the shadow side or the more challenging qualities as well. So with that need for perfectionism becomes a need for control. So as we move into Pisces energy and away from this, which we've already learned, it's about letting go so that the higher wisdom can come in, the higher knowledge, the higher awareness can come in. And we're moving away from drama and all the pettiness of silly things that don't matter and looking at things from a much higher perspective. So it's a wonderful opportunity over the next 18 months for everybody to really look at, how big can I get? How good can I be? How much have I got to share? And how, just expand and expand as much as you want to and as much as you can, because this is what the earth plane needs at this time. We're undergoing massive change, and the more we can do it on a spiritual way, doing it for the highest good of all concerned, the more success we're going to have and the more happy everybody's going to be going through all of these changes. So, what's going to happen as well, or what's actually happening right now that the North Node has moved into Pisces, that starts forming aspects with the other planets, some which are supportive, some of which are not so supportive. But what's going to be very, very important, in particular between January and April, is the conjunction between the North Node in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. Because for those next few months, Neptune is going to be at 29 degrees of Pisces. And when a planet is at 29 degrees, it's at its most intense and most powerful. So when it conjuncts another planet, when two planets conjunct one another, they amplify each other's energy. They work together and sort of amplify each other. So what we're going to find is that North Node and Neptune conjunction is really going to push up and forward that need for higher values, that need to look at things from a more spiritual perception, but also just from that higher perspective, which includes everybody, which allows everybody to benefit, not just this top-down feeding that we've had for the last God knows how many years, but this much more aligned, so we're all aligned with one another and what we want to do and where we want to go. So that's going to be really intense. And then we're also going to have a very intense conjunction between Saturn and once he moves into Aries, while he's in the later stages of Pisces, which he is now as well, also conjuncting that North Node and bringing the structure in that we need. Because Saturn's all about structure. And of course, Pisces energy is all about being all woo-woo and la-la. So they don't actually work very well together. So we really need that Saturn structure. If you're going to get something off the ground that's outside the box, that's alternative, that's not mainstream, then you've got to have a good structure behind it. Otherwise, it's all going to collapse on like a house of cards. So that's a really important thing to be aware of. But also, so the last time we had in our lifetimes had the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo was between, the last time was between June 2006 and January 2008. So that was the last time we experienced this. So it's good now for you to look back at what you went through during that period of your life, because the chances are that that can repeat. And when I say it can repeat, what it means is similar opportunities, similar gifts, similar people can come into your life over the next 18 months that you experienced back then in 2006 to 2008 to see if you're going to do it differently. You know, perhaps an opportunity was offered to you back then that you didn't take. You didn't think you were good enough for it. You didn't think it was right for you. You were too busy doing something else, whatever the excuse might have been. And so it may be represented to you this time so that you can do it differently. Or it could be that you just get to expand on what you've done before and do it better than how you did it before. But it can be very common for similar things to come up, because when the North Node is moving into Pisces in particular, it is really pushing you to make changes in your life, changes that allow you to move forward, looking at things differently and doing them from that higher perspective. So, so before 2006, the time before that, the North Node was in Pisces and the South Node was in Virgo, was between November 1987 and May 1989. So after we finish this little masterclass, it could be good for you to go away and have a look if you can remember back to what you were doing in those times, and just make a few notes about, what were you feeling back then? What were you doing work-wise? What were you doing relationship-wise? But really, most importantly, what were you doing spiritually-wise? Were you focusing on this part of yourself? I mean, for some of you back in 1987, 1989, you might have never heard of anything spiritual and might not have been, interested in this sort of stuff at all. But back in 2006 to 2008, that's a little bit more recent for people to be able to look back at and see what they were doing then. Because anything that you were trying to do then creatively or spiritually can go to a higher level this time, because you've had the little taste of it back then. You did or didn't do something with that energy. And now that it's moving into into a higher octave of that energy, you get another opportunity to do it and to do it better, or to do it in a more broader, more holistic and more sort of universal way. So we're really stepping out of having to be in control of everything to surrendering to the higher energies. And for a lot of people, the thought of surrendering is terrifying, because it means giving away your power. It means you're vulnerable. It means all those things. But when we're surrendering to something that's better than what we are, to a higher energy, and not in a serving way or anything like that. We're just surrendering to something that's better than what we are right now, that can take us places and it can allow us to be a whole lot more. We're really remembering and moving back into using the God energy or the spiritual energy, the universe energy, whatever you want to call it. And we're getting to see what we're truly capable of when we reach higher, when we push ourselves to do more, and especially when it's for the highest good of all concerned. So we're moving out of that. It's all about me. I've got to do this so that I can be successful and so that I have this and that I have that, into this, what can I do to be really successful that everybody around me benefits from as well? So it's not just about you, it's about everybody around you. And I sort of feel this is really important where we are at this time on the earth plane, because like I said earlier, I do believe that we're coming back to community living. We're coming back from, having governments and councils and big organizations that are completely detached from reality, ruling everything, to actually us looking after ourselves. And I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know what it's going to look like. I can just feel what it should feel like, and what I would like it to look like in the future. So the nodes, they really represent our spiritual path, and they also represent our past lives. So, but often, so every year when we have this shift, for instance, but now that we've got into the new polar axes of Pisces to Virgo, we're looking at past lives that we've had in Virgo, times in other lifetimes where we've mastered being organized, where we've been good managers, where we've been healers, when we've been people, perfectionists, people that looked after others. We've mastered that now, and now it's time to take all of that energy, all of that learning, and use it for the highest good of all concerned, and for the collective energy in particular. So yeah, so what we're moving into is really a time of higher values. You know, we're coming out of sort of that 3D energy of you know, hard work, discipline, all of those sorts of things, and now we're going to use it for what we really want to use it for, rather than just sort of using the energy that's been presented to us over the last sort of 10 years or so of just developing ourselves to be better at what we do, which is important too, but actually developing ourselves so that we can have that higher perspective, and we know that whatever we're channeling our energy into, we're doing for the highest good of all concerned, especially ourselves. So it's a good time to, you know, don't be afraid to put yourself first. Don't be afraid to say, I will need to do this for me, and you know, and be able to say no to other people, because that's really important, especially coming out of that Librian Aries thing where it became almost like a battle. I've got to go with everybody else and what they want. Oh no, I don't. I've got to do what I want. And it became a bit of a battle as to whether you were honoring the majority or honoring yourself. So now we're moving to a higher octave of that, which means that it's not about honoring anything except yourself, and knowing where you need to be and what you need to do for you, so that you can move forward, and taking all of the people, all of the energy, all of the gifts and talents that you have, taking those with you to share with all of those around you. So has anybody got any questions, anything they'd like to ask me about it this right now? No? Okay, so I'm going to run another masterclass on this on Saturday. It'll be a paid masterclass, this one, just $33 per person for around about an hour and a half. And in this masterclass, we'll be able to dive into each of your what this polar change is going to mean for each of you on an individual level as well as on the collective level. So you'll get to see, you know, and again, you might not need to do this. You might need to be able to just look back at what you did in 2006 to 2008, or what was it, 87 to 89, and be able to see already a pattern forming, the same things coming along, the same things, you're finding yourself in that same situation. And what are you going to do about it? You know, what are you going to do this time? Is it going to be different from the way you handled it last time? Or are you going to do it the same way? Or are you, because what you'll find is it's been 18 years, you're a different person now to how you were then. And so the decisions and the opportunities and the directions you take now should be more evolved. They should be more about what is your highest purpose, and more about honoring yourself over and above everything else. So if you find yourself over the next 18 months feeling compelled to sort of slip into the background, to sort of, you know, be that wind beneath other people's wings again, and to just sort of forget about your dreams and what you want to, just to support other people, you're going backwards. That's not what you're meant to be doing with this energy. You're stuck in your South Node, and you're not using the potential of the North Node. So just be aware of yourself and check yourself every now and then. Am I being too conservative? Am I being too traditional? Am I being too perfectionistic? And can I just let that go and step into a higher awareness? So I hope that's helped everybody and you've all got something out of this. I have recorded this, so I will drop the recording down into Facebook and Instagram once it comes through, and I'll put it up on my YouTube channel as well, so you can see it all there again and listen to it again. And if you've got any questions, just pop me an email and I'll answer them for you that way. So thank you all very much for being here today, and I hope to see you all again at the next one. We've got some major planetary shifts this year, and so what I'd like to do is do masterclasses on each of these big shifts as they come along, just to help everybody understand how to use this energy, because it really is momentous this year, really big energies with the big outer planets shifting signs. And the more, you know, forewarned is forearmed, and knowing what we have to deal with is always a good thing. So thank you, everybody. I'll see you all next time.
Thanks, Deirdre.
Thank you, Deirdre.
Bye.